How is everybody doing? I hope you're all well. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I learned to love Genesis. Genesis are an they started out as an English prog rock band back in the late 60s. They were in school, I think, when they recorded their debut album, and that was From Genesis to Revelation. I had it on CD one time. I got rid of it. It's not very interesting to me, really. I'm just going to deal here with Genesis on Charisma and Virgin. So I'm going to tell you how I got into the band and how it kind of, the way I got into them. You know, I was going back, say, what is it? I've heard of Phil Collins back in the early 80s. Can't Hurry Love was a big single. And Here Tonight, that was on the radio all the time. Didn't know much about Genesis back then. And he had a song in 1984, Against All Odds. I thought that was a fantastic song. I loved the drums in it and everything. And all through the 80s, Phil Collins in 1985, he was probably one of the biggest solo stars on the planet. With his album No Jacket Required, and then of course Buster came along and stuff like that in the late 80s, and then But Seriously, which was another huge album. So fast forward from early 80s up to 1990, and I was after buying But Seriously. I kind of caught up in the hype and stuff like that, but then I decided to head down the Genesis road because I just thought it might be a little bit more interesting. Phil Collins as a solo artist, I mean, I think he's a brilliant drummer, but some of the stuff is kind of a little bit kind of MOR, one-dimensional and stuff like that. So I head down that road, and first album I bought on CD, now actually, it was compact disc, was Invisible Touch. Invisible Touch was the band's album from 1986. It was pretty big back then. What do I think of it now? I like it. You know, it's not something I listen to all the time, but I prefer it than all the 80s Phil Collins albums, which I wouldn't really listen to that much. I remember 1990 when I bought this on CD. I think soon after, it was around the summer, I think they played at Network 90, and I think they played Mama and stuff like that. And then I was kind of more curious. I was kind of becoming a fan, and at that stage I thought, yeah, I'd like to buy more of their stuff. Didn't realise that they had such a big back catalogue, but this one isn't bad. Yeah, I mean, it's produced by Hugh Padgham, and I remember in '86, I mean, Invisible Touch, that was a big hit. Tonight, Land of Confusion, the Spit Image video, In Too Deep, they were all singles. Anything She Does, I remember the Benny Hill video, that was okay. You know, I didn't like it when I got the album, but now I actually think it's one of the best songs on the album. Throwing It All Away, that was another slow track, and the Brazilian was kind of almost like Los Indos Part 2. But Throwing It All Away, In Too Deep, I don't know if they were written by Phil Collins, but they could have been on his solo album, you know. So yeah, Invisible Touch, it's not bad. And then I think it was around late summer 1990, I bought this one on compact disc, and this is from 1983. This isn't a bad album, actually. I like it. Mama, That's All, Home by the Sea, fantastic tracks. They're really good. I really like them. Illegal Alien, I like the music in it, but it's a bit, Phil is pretending that he's a Mexican, you know, an illegal immigrant. Just a Job to Do, that's quite good. Silver Rainbow, it's going to get better. I don't really like that. Again, this was produced by Hugh Padgham. There's a brilliant documentary of the making of the album on YouTube. I think they're recording it in early 1983. It's worth checking out. Really, really good. So, yeah. Now, what did I buy next in the Genesis catalogue? Late 1990 on compact disc again. I bought Trick of the Tail. Trick of the Tail. This is a fantastic album because, number one, it was the first album that the band recorded and released after Peter Gabriel had left. Peter Gabriel was the front man from the start until 1975, and he left. And this is one of my favorite Genesis albums of all time. I love Dance on a Volcano. It's fantastic. It's a brilliant, brilliant track. Great opener as well. Entangled, kind of acoustic-y stuff with 12-string guitars. Lovely vocal from Phil. Squonk, that's a kind of a, I don't know, I suppose you call it a kind of a rocker from Genesis, but it kind of plods along. It's about a kind of a fairy tale animal. Madman Moon, that's a Banks track, that's really good. Robbery, Salt and Battery, I like that as well. Ripples is a masterpiece. It really, really is. Trick of the Tail itself is fantastic, and Los Indos reminds me of Santana, but really, really good. Fantastic album. I really like it. Then what else did I buy? 91. I went to London in the summer, and I ended up buying Duke and Abacab on compact disc in Virgin in Piccadilly. That was a fantastic shop. Abacab, it's good. It's from 1981. It's got again, there's 2 copies here because it came in 4 different sleeves. But Abacab was the band in the start of the 80s, becoming a little bit less prog and more pop. And Abacab itself is a fantastic track. No Reply at All is a fantastic track. That's got the Earth, Wind and Fire horn section on it. Me and Sarah Jane, that's a long track. It's more like a long song than more prog. Keep It Dark, that's another good one. Dodo, yeah, that's a bit, it lurks back to the Peter Gabriel days in some way. I think they kind of wanted to move away from it, but they also wanted to give the fans long songs. Dodo, and then part 2 was Lurker. It's okay. It's a bit silly. I'm not sure. Who Done It? That's just a joke. It's a horrible track actually. I really don't like it. Because Phil has got the old Cockney accent, and it's a novelty track. I just don't really like it. Nah, it's just, it's nonsense. There was a few tracks that were not on this album that they recorded. Paper Late, which is a fantastic single. They should have had that on this. You Might Recall, which is one of my favorite Genesis tracks of all time. And Me and Virgil, which is another kind of a prog type song. They were left off the album. They were gonna add them on something, I can't remember. But yeah, they were really good tracks. Man in the Corner, that sounds like something off Phil's first album, Face Value, from the same year. And it's boring, and I don't really like it. Like It or Not, that's a good track. I like it. And Another Record, that's a Banks Collins Rutherford track. Good track, interesting, an old rock and roller. Duke, I think it's probably another masterpiece in a way, but it's kind of a bit flawed in some ways. Behind the Lines, Duchess, guide vocal, fantastic. But originally that was going to be a Duke suite, and there was going to be an instrumental version of Turn It On Again after guide vocal, and then they were going to end it with Duke's Travels, Duke's End, but they decided to edit it a bit differently for the album sequence. And this was recorded in Polar Studio, Stockholm, which was owned by ABBA. Misunderstanding, another great track. It's got the same rhythm as Hold the Line by Toto. Phil was influenced by Jeff Bucaro, a fantastic Toto drummer. Heat is, it's okay, Alone Tonight. They're kind of slow tracks. Cool as Sack. It's okay. Please Don't Ask. That's again could have been a Phil Collins track. Some of the tracks on this were going to be on Phil's first solo album, and I think in The Ear Tonight, Phil offered him that song for this, and Banks kind of said nah. But after he regretted it. But Duke is a good album in its own right. I really like it. I think it's a strong album, and yeah, not bad at all. Now, September, October, I think, 91, We Can't Dance came out, and there was a documentary on the TV before the album came out, and I taped it and I loved it when they were recording this. This is a good album, but there's a few tracks on it that, you know, really do sound like solo Phil Collins, irrespective of who wrote them. No Son of Mine, that's a great track. Jesus, He Knows Me, I like that. Driving Last By, they go back to the long form stuff. It's a bit kind of, it's not convincing enough, but then again I could imagine Gabriel singing it back in the early days. I Can't Dance, never liked it, and I actually don't even like it today. I still, yeah, I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. It's the most un-Genesis song ever, and the most un-Phil Collins song ever. Never a Time, that could have been on, but seriously, to be honest with you. Dream While You Sleep, I love it, fantastic. Tell Me Why, that's actually not bad. Reminds me of the Byrds. I think there's kind of a Rickenbacker 12 string on it or something. Nice track. Living Forever, it's okay. Yeah, it sounds more Genesis than Phil Collins. Hold On My Heart, again, that could have been on any Phil Collins Genesis album for the previous 5 years, mid 80s up to 90, 91. Way of the World, I really like that. Great vocal by Phil on it. And again, it could have been, you know, could have been Phil Collins 1988, 89, to be honest. Since I Lost You, that was a track that was written for Eric Clapton's son, who died tragically. And Fading Lights, again a long one, very moody instrumental. Again, going back to the long form. Does it work? It's a bit long. I think there's 2 tracks that this album could have done without, and I think Never a Time is definitely one of them. I Can't Dance, I don't like it. If that was gone from the album, then it wouldn't be called We Can't Dance, would it? But anyway, yeah, not bad. It's not one I listen to that often, you know, to be honest with you. So that was that. Then I think I bought this one in the end of 1991, and this is the actual vinyl I bought, actually. And then there were 3. This was after Steve Hackett left in 1977. They started recording this. It's not bad. I'm just checking if this video is still running, you know. Just gotta check. Yeah, it's okay. Down and Out. Yeah, it kind of goes back to the Gabriel style stuff, I suppose. Undertow, that's a nice track. Ballad Big, not really interested in that. Snowbound, that's not bad either. Burning Rope is fantastic. Banks, it's one of my favorite Genesis tracks. Really, really good. Deep in the Motherlode, not bad. Many Too Many, I don't know. Not really too happy with that one. Scenes from a Night's Dream, again, not really interested in it. See It's All Right Joe, I think that was based on a Dean Martin song. I don't know. It's just a bit strange, a bit meandering. The Lady Lies, excellent track, absolutely love it. And Follow You, Follow Me was kind of a hit single. And yeah, like there's only 3 left here, and Mike Rutherford plays lead guitar. Again, like he's not a virtuoso like Hackett, but he does a good job, you know, not bad. So now we're into 1992, and I really can't remember what I was buying after that. I think I might have bought Wind and Wuthering. Again, it's kind of a continuation from A Trick of the Tail. I like this album. I really like What's the first opener on it? 11th Earl of Mar. It sets the tone for the album, but it's one of the most jaunty tracks on the album. It kind of harks back again to Gabriel era, I guess. It's quite dynamic. Hackett is on this album. This was the last one he did with the band. He was a bit frustrated at this stage because he was offering up material and the band were, they put in like things like What Gorilla, which was a kind of an instrumental, which was quite short. It's a great instrumental. It's a bit underdeveloped, but it's still, this touch of, what will I say, jazz fusion of it, which Collins was into at the time. One for the Vine is on it. Tony Banks' masterpiece. I really like that track. Your Own Special Way is a beautiful song. Took a long time to grow on me, but it's a good song. Really nice song. What else have we? All in the Mouse's Night. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. There was 3 tracks left off this, and one was Match of the Day, and then there's another one, Pigeons and Inside and Out, which were 3 great tracks released on a 12-inch in '77. But one quite slumber in that quiet art. Yeah, instrumentals and stuff like that, which go into Afterglow, which is a nice track as well. Pretty straightforward. Blood on the Rooftops, which is a Hackett Collins composition, is a great track. I really like that. It's quite dark and menacing. I think it was meant to be a love song. It ended up being a kind of a cynical song. Very good stuff. Really good. Wind and Wuthering, is it as good as Trick? I don't think so, but it certainly stands next to it. Quite good. Yeah. What else did I get? Seconds Out. I bought that in early '93. That's a good album. As a live album, it's good. Of course, recorded in '76, '77. They also use Bill Bruford on drums for some of this, and Chester Thompson, the ex-Frank Zappa drummer. Fantastic drummer. So you got Squonk, Carpet Crawl, Robbery, Assault and Battery, Afterglow, 3rd to 5th, fantastic. I Know What I Like, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, The Musical Box, closing section. Supper's Ready is on this, which is great. Cinema Show, Dance in the Volcano, but it's kind of half the song and then it goes into Los Indos. Worth having, good album, certainly worth having. Really good. And after that, I'd say I probably bought these babies, and these were from the We Can't Dance tour. These were the shorts, things like Land of Confusion, No Son of Mine, Easy Knows Me, Throwing It All Away, I Can't Dance, Mama, Hold On My Heart. That's all, In Too Deep, Tonight, 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 Invisible Touch. And then along came this one, and this has the old medley. Not as convincing here, but if you've never heard some of the older Gabriel stuff, it might get you into it and stuff like that, and it kind of did for me, to be honest. You got Dance in the Volcano, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, The Musical Box, 3rd to 5th, not a bad version, I know what I like. And then Driving the Last Spike, which is takes up a lot of the album. Yeah. Then you got Domino, Part 1, Part 2, Fading Lights, again takes up a lot of this. They could have put other stuff in there. Home by the Sea, Second Home by the Sea. The drum duet isn't on this because of running time. It's only a single. Quite rare actually, that album is quite rare. It's not easy to get. This one is I think it's I don't know, where's it pressed? Is it Greece or somewhere like that? It's European. But yeah, hard to find, and you will pay a lot of money for it, but nice to have it. Then I'd say oh yeah, I also got that. I think I got it in '92. There's 2 versions of this. One has all live tracks, but the main live tracks, 3 sides, are from the 81, 82 tour. Goes through stuff from Abacab, Duke, and then there were 3. And on this one, you've got One for Divine, Fountain of Salmachus, It, Watcher of the Skies. But there's also the CD version, which was Atlantic originally, and that has some studio cuts, Paper Lake, You Might Recall, Me and Virgil, which were Abacab outtakes, and it also has Evidence of Autumn and Open Door, which were Duke outtakes. Again, good songs. I really like them. Good to have them. There's also other stuff from Abacab, Submarine, Namananu. I love Submarine. Great cinema music. Namananu is a bit crappy. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, what else did I get after that? Digging backwards, I'd say I probably ended up buying, selling by the pound. That's one of the highlights of the Gabriel years. Um, yeah, really is. I know what I like in your wardrobe was on it for the 5th. Fantastic. Battle of Epping Forest, cinema show. There's a Phil Solo vocal on this one as well. More Fool Me. This is classed as one of their best albums, and yeah, it's a good album. In fairness, you know, it all seems to work. What else did I get after that? I think I bought the Lamb. Definitely bought the Lamb on CD. I got the definitive remastered edition, whatever you call it. The Lamb, it's a bit much to take in one go, but there's some brilliant stuff on it. It's only when you listen to it, say listen to disc 1, I always prefer to disc 1. The Lamb Lies on Broadway is fantastic. Fly on a Windshield, Broadway Melody, that's great. Cocoon, that's very good. In the Cage, fantastic. Grand Parade of Lifeless Packaging, and you're back in New York City. That's quite, it's quite, how will I put it, disturbing as well. Hairless Heart is a beautiful instrumental. Goes into Counting Out Time, Carpet Crawl, and Chamber 32 Doors. Very, very good stuff. It was kind of, lyrics were by Gabriel, music was by the band, but after this album, in 74, Gabriel decided to quit, I think in 75. Colony Slipperman is on it, writing the Scree, the Rapids, it. It's hard to listen to all in one go, but it's a good album. There's some good, like if you took 10 tracks from it, you would have a fantastic single album, you know. So yeah, that was the end of Gabriel with Genesis. This one again is from 72 or 73, I think. I can't remember. 73. It's just a 5-track live album, and it's probably the only official live release from the Gabriel years. And yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Watch Your Disguise is on it. Fantastic. Get 'em Out by Friday. Return to the Giant Hogweed. Musical Box, The Knife. Yeah, that's on there. So, what else have we left with? We got the first 3 albums. Trespass, Nursery Crime, and Foxtrot. I bought these in a Virgin box set in early 1995. They were picture discs, but they were the original versions on CD, which were butchered artwork. They absolutely horrendous artwork. They don't sound that good either. Foxtrot sounds okay. The rest of them sounded awful. The Gabriel stuff is less accessible. You know, it takes a longer time to get into it. I find a lot of people love it. They hate the Phil Collins stuff. This album has only 6 tracks, but it's quite good. Looking for Someone is good. White Mountain, I like that. Visions of Angels, I like that as well. Stagnation, Dusk. The Knife, that's a great track. It's about the Kent University massacre, I think. Bizarrely enough, the Beach Boys had a song about that as well on Surf's Up. On this one, you've got Peter Gabriel, Anthony Phillips was the guitarist, Tony Banks on keyboards, Michael Rutherford, 12-string guitar and bass and stuff like that. John Mayhew was the drummer. And so this is unique to this album. On the second album, Nursery Crime, this is actually their 3rd album, like I said, from Genesis to Revelation. I don't really have it. I'll probably buy the CD again, but it's on Decca. I'm not really too interested in it, but it's a collector's novelty. You've got the Musical Box, one of their best tracks. Yeah, not bad. It's a bit more concise than the first album, and For Absence Friends, I think Phil sings on that. Return to the Giant Hogweed, I like that one as well. The actual 2007 Nick Davis remixes of the first 3 albums sound far better than anything that's come before. I just got them recently and I love them. Seven Stones is another kind of an acoustic one. Harold the Barrel, that's kind of a bit quirky. It kind of harks forward to Trick of the Tail era stuff. Harlequin, and then Fountain of Salmacus. Again, I like that song. It's a good one. And yeah, but for me, I think out of the first 3 albums, I think Foxtrot does it for me, because I love the intro to Get 'Em Up by Friday. It's fantastic. It's very dynamic. The drumming is fantastic. Phil Collins and Steve Hackett replaced John Mayhew and Anthony Phillips, respectively. Timetable, great track. What's the rest of the other one? Can Utility and the Coastliners. And then you got Supper's Ready on side 2, which is a kind of a 21-minute something sweet. So that's a fantastic. This album you can really get your teeth into, to use a phrase that Tony Banks once used. Yeah, it's a great album. Probably it's my favorite out of the first 3, and I think it's probably my favorite Gabriel one as well, to be totally honest. Even though The Lamb, has got better sound quality and stuff, that the Lamb is really precisely recorded. It's a great recording. I've just bought this on 2007 remaster, so I need to reinvestigate it, and that's it really. So that's Genesis. That's how I learned to love them. And of course, I bought all the CDs and I sold them in the mid 00s, the mid noughties. But I have the vinyl. I didn't buy any remastered vinyl or anything like that. And I'm just kind of buying them all again on CD. And I have a good collection, but I'm going to buy all the 2007s. I have most of the originals, and I have starting to buy the DEs as well, or what do you call them, the definitive remastered editions. So that's it. That's Genesis to me. Yeah, I've nothing after this one. I didn't buy Calling All Stations. I have no interest in it because Phil Collins is gone at that stage. I would have bought it if he was singing on it. And what else? The Win in Rome, I don't have that. I don't have the box sets or anything like that, but they're a fantastic band. I love listening to them, and certainly they're well worth investigation if you're only a casual fan. So I think I've said all I said. I have these on another video as well in more detail. And let's check the time on this, see where we are. 25 minutes. Well, yeah, I'm going to edit this a bit. Yeah, I'm becoming very crude at my video making, you know what I mean? There's very little effort goes in to the videos these days. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and take care.